Hey everyone, my name's Elena. Today I wanted to talk with you about narcissistic abuse, narcissistic conditioning. A lot of women that are successful, mature, make good money, they're intelligent, emotionally intelligent. You have your proverbial shiz together, let's say, and yet somehow you keep ending up in a relationship with a narcissistic man. How does it happen? What do you do? Why do I keep ending up with these people? These are questions that I've been asking myself for a decade. And it does start somewhere, but I'm not going to get into that here in this video. What I would like to get into in this video is a stack of books that I read, that I started to read in order to help myself understand what was going on. And I'll give a little bit of background. So I was with several, but the most recent narcissist, we were together off and on for roughly 3.5 years. And I thought that he was going to be my person. I knew that I was the type of woman that he had always wanted. And I do believe that somewhere in a narcissist, they are capable of love. Not the love that you and I know, that you and I are looking for, but they are capable of love. And I knew that I was the type of woman that he had always been searching for. If you take the fact that I was a self-proclaimed empath, which narcissists love. They love empaths because we are constantly trying to put ourselves in other people's shoes. We're constantly trying to extend compassion. We're constantly trying to understand why somebody is some way and then help them and be there for them. We have guilt complexes. Most of us have a little shame in there. So for those of you women that are wondering, I'm successful, I'm intelligent, why am I attracting this person? That's probably the first question that you need to ask yourself. Do I have a guilt complex? Am I a self-proclaimed empath? Because if so, those are 100% two things that narcissists love to look for. We are their perfect accomplices. And on the flip side of that, if you are an empath, if you have a people-pleasing tendency within you, if you have a guilt complex, you're going to be doing the most to make sure that that person is constantly happy, constantly loves you. And for when they decide to take away their affections after they've love-bombed the ever-living shit out of you, making you feel like you're the most wonderful, beautiful, special woman in the world, and they take that away, as they are prone to do, it's a constant cycle, then you are going to feel guilt. You are going to wonder what you did. You're going to wonder how you can get that person's affections back. And in so doing, you're feeding their ego. So it's this cyclical thing that occurs with narcissists. And as soon as you can understand that, you will be able to begin looking at your life, your relationship with these people, and start picking out instances of, okay, so you did this, you said this, and then you made it about me somehow, and I felt like crap about myself, and now you've distanced yourself from me. I want your affection back. What do I need to do to earn your affection again? Let me worship you. That's all they want. So I'm going to go through a couple of books that, in chronological order of how I tackled them, so that you understand, A, if you want to order these, this one I found at Goodwill for $2, but it's not a book about narcissism, it's a book about sociopaths. Sociopath Next Door. So Martha Stout does an excellent job. And by the way, there is a fine line between sociopaths and narcissists. A narcissist could be a narcopath, which is also a sociopath, narcissist combined. But we won't get into all that. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health expert. I am simply somebody who has been on a personal growth journey, looking for answers to my life's conundrums. And this is what I've found. These are the resources that have helped me. So The Sociopath Next Door, when I was reading through this book, I specifically recall I was with him, he who shall not be named, my 3.5-year narcissistic lover. And I'm reading through this book, and I remember looking at him over the top of it as he would walk past me, wondering, is this who this person is? Because I knew that there was something. It was at this point, I think we'd been together a 1.5 years. And I think it was at this point that I really started to see something was wrong. Something was amiss. I am a very self-aware person. I am inherently curious. I am intelligent. I am successful. I am the type of woman that you probably are if you're watching this video, because that's how law of attraction works. Wondering, how did I end up here? How did this person manipulate me in such a way? I'm smart. I have access to educational materials to teach myself things that I need to know. But, you know, that's part of the self-growth journey, is we have these inner questions and we start to find outlets. We start to find the universe will bring us those resources so we can begin to understand, right? Right. So starting with The Sociopath Next Door really helped me start to pinpoint what I saw amiss in my relationship with this person. Is he a sociopath? I don't really know. I feel like he does have some empathy, and it's not that narcissists don't have empathy. It's so buried. It's so buried. Narcissism is a cluster B personality disorder, just like bipolar, just like borderline personality disorder. These are all learned behaviors. You don't come out of the womb as a narcissist. This is stuff that is instilled within people by their parents. If you have a narcissistic parent, it is likely, don't quote me on a percentage because I don't know, but it is likely that you could end up with some narcissistic tendencies. And the longer those go unchecked, and the more you are able to get people to play into your narcissistic games, the more ingrained those behaviors become. Narcissists resist therapy. Many of them don't feel like there's anything wrong with them. They don't want to admit that there's anything wrong with them. That's the problem. So some of them can, some of them do go to therapy, some of them actually can be cured from their narcissistic tendencies and behaviors, and some of them don't. My ex refused. He still refuses, and that's why we're not together today. So once I was able, he followed me to a couple of different states. I moved around, and he decided he was going to come with me. And like I said, I do feel like narcissists can feel love. I think that it's very shallow love. It's more of a, I love what you do for me. I love how you make me look. I was the woman that he wanted, that he could show off to everybody. Look at my older girlfriend. She makes 6 figures. She works in cybersecurity. Look how fit she is for being in her 40s. Look at the car that she drives. Look at the house that she lives in. It was all about how I made him look and how I made him feel. The problem is, the more we know about narcissists and narcissistic abuse, the less we're going to tolerate. So before I truly learned all of that, we broke up. I had to cut him off, no contact. That was October of 22. And I came across Stop Manipulating Me. Identifying Narcissism, Disarming a Narcissist, and Overcoming Narcissistic Abuse. Now, granted, actually, I read that book before we broke up. He even saw it sitting on my table where I keep all my books. And he even read the title, Stop Manipulating Me. But because narcissists only give a shit about themselves, and whatever is beyond their nose is beyond their concern, He didn't even pick up that that book was about him and that I was learning how to combat him. Once we did break up, in sheep's clothing. So this one is about understanding and dealing with manipulative people. Extremely helpful, because that's really all narcissists are doing, is they are manipulating you. It's just mind fuck after mind fuck. I started to notice this when he joined me the second time when I moved to Tulsa. We would go to Costco, and he would be in charge of pushing the cart, which I did not like, because he liked to run ahead of me whenever I was carrying heavy things. It was a fun game he loved to play. I would go pick up something heavy, he would take off with the cart, which had my purse in it. Or he loved to do this: leave the cart in the middle of a busy area with my purse in it while I'm off looking at something else, and just leave it there in the middle of everybody else's way, again with my purse in it. If it's beyond his nose, it's beyond his concern. Remember that, okay? This includes you. So I started to notice that he would do these things to aggravate me, to antagonize me, and then look at me out of the corner of his eye. He didn't think that I could see him doing that, but I started to see him doing that. He was waiting for my reaction. And that's when I began to understand that this was a game for him. He wanted to get a rise out of me, because once he got a rise out of me, an argument would ensue. And that's all they want to do, is fight. They want to fight. They want to prove you wrong. They want to make you feel like you're flipping nuts. They want to gaslight the crap out of you. It's fun for them. Many of them enjoy it. Many of them enjoy it. We were apart for 8 months. I went through a lot of therapy. I came across a man named Richard Grannon, and I read his book, A Cult of One. And I was starting to deprogram myself from narcissistic conditioning. What did that mean? It meant that my body image was awful. It meant that my self-esteem was awful. I self-harmed so much that it was honestly, it got to the point where I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself anymore, and I said, if you don't leave him, he will kill you from the inside out. He didn't have to do anything to me. I did it all to myself. All he did was talk and manipulate and gaslight and just plant those little seeds of you're crazy, you're nuts. That's not how that went. You remember it wrong. I didn't say that. What are you talking about? You've heard it. You know exactly what I'm referring to. And I'm quite sure you're like, are you in my relationship? No, I don't need to be. They're all the same. The final book that really blew my mind wide open and helped me understand that not only was my ex a narcissist, but abusive, because there was some physical abuse, definitely mental abuse, definitely emotional abuse. There was some physical abuse. I wouldn't say any sexual abuse, even though he made me feel badly about myself in a sexual context, because the only way he could experience intimacy is if we were having sex. He doesn't know how to connect to a woman on an emotional level. They can't. They can't. You need to understand and accept this. Your narcissist cannot love you the way that you need. They don't feel love like that. They don't. I don't give a shit what he tells you. I don't give a shit what she tells you, because this could be about a woman too. I'm speaking from my experience because I'm a woman and I was with a man, but this can very, very much relate to a man with a narcissistic woman. They exist, and they're just as abusive, and they leave men just as effed as men leave women, because that's the point. So my ex was abusive, and why does he do that? By Lundy Bancroft. That book is what made me stop talking to him altogether. So we were back in a relationship. I was like, I've gone to therapy. I've learned how to gray rock. I know, I've read all these books. I know how to combat him now. I have made myself protected. Okay, so that worked 50% of the time. It was exhausting. It was exhausting. Did it work? Yes. Yes, it did. There was one day that we had to have a conversation about going to London. I had paid for my plane ticket and his plane ticket and the Airbnb. So that right there is probably $3,000 to $4,000. He made less money than me, yes, but he made decent money. He worked hard, he busted his butt. On paper, this guy is perfect. On paper. If you look at him, specimen. Everything about a narcissist is presented to you the way that they want you to look at them. It is all a facade, it's all a mask. We would go out, he would be on his best behavior, he'd be mature, he would be sexy, he'd be witty, he'd be fun. The minute we walked in that door, everything came off and Mr. Hyde came out. That's how they are. Because in public, they need everybody to think that they are the heroes. You're the crazy bastard. You're the psycho bitch. So they will put on a very good persona. Everybody that ever met him, oh, he seems like such a sweet guy. He seems so nice. I don't understand what to, yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because you're not in my house when the door is closed and all that shit comes off. You're not dealing with that person. And that's how you know, that's a surefire sign that you are dealing with a manipulative personality that is likely a narcissist if they want to attack you in private only. And then they tell everybody else what a psycho you are, how abusive you are, how manipulative you are. All this stuff she said to me. Okay, but what did you say to me first? And when he and I got back together, the second time after 8 months of no contact, it was exhausting for me, but I did have tools in place that I could use to call him on his shit. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you, do not call a narcissist on their shit. Do not challenge a narcissist. Do not challenge a narcissist. Well, I'm me, and I guess I like a good challenge. And I did challenge him. No, that's not what we're doing. No, that's not what we're talking about. No, that's not what I said. Do you enjoy making me feel this way? Do you enjoy mincing my words? Do you enjoy making me look like a fool in public? No, no, no. Are you sure? Why does he do that? Read the book. Just read the book. When he and I, so it didn't last long, that time that we got back together after the 8 months of no contact. It didn't last long because I had grown. I knew too much. I wouldn't play his games anymore. And it gets very boring for them if you don't want to play along. You know, our last conversation before we split for absolute good, like not together anymore, he's with someone else now, split for good. He was trying to convince me to move into his house because he just needed somebody to do his laundry. He just needed somebody to clean the house. He just needed somebody to help him out and cook and clean, you know? You don't even got to pay any bills. I need help. Then why did you buy a house that was too big for you? I said, it sounds like you need a maid. I have my own house that I need to clean, my own laundry that I need to do, and my own cooking that I need to do at my house. And his response was, maybe I need to find another woman. Permission granted. Please go find another woman. And that was 6 months ago or so. And for a very brief period, we did not talk. He did find another woman within 5 days. Relationship announcement on Facebook. 5 days later. Narcissists don't give a shit about who they're with. They don't care. What are you gonna do for them? Will you come cook and clean? Will you come do my laundry? Will you help me pay my bills? Will you help fatten my savings account? Will you make me look good when we go out in public? I need somebody on my arm when I go out and do this stuff. I don't really give a shit about you. That's all it's about. That's why I could be replaced so easily. The few times that we broke up and he went to another woman, it was never anybody that would make me jealous. How can I be jealous of someone who looks like a man? How can I be jealous of a 25-year-old woman? Girl, I'm not. And it's because that woman who looked like a man and this poor girl are only serving one purpose for him. He doesn't love them. He loves what they do for him. End of story. It was never really about me. Part of it was, I don't think we would have lasted as long as we did if there wasn't something there. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe that's a story that I want to tell myself. It wouldn't matter anyways because I'm good either way. I no longer have to deal with this person. I no longer have to put up with his crap. I no longer have to be made to feel like shit, look like shit. I'm good. I'm glad that his 25-year-old daughter girlfriend has to put up with his crap. I'm actually the one who told him, you need to go younger. Us older women, we're set in our ways. We've got our careers. We don't want to cater to you. Please go younger. Find a girl who is more than willing to do your bidding. And that's exactly what he did. I will give him credit. He did always listen to me. And now he's happy. Bless him. But we did end up trying to be friends. And this is what a narcissist does as well. So if you've broken up with one, consider the fact that if he wants to be friends, it's because he still thinks you're his. He has not let you go. Maybe you think you let him go or her go, but they have not let you go. They still feel like they own you. We went out for drinks behind his girlfriend's back. She told him, I don't want you talking to her. I don't want you hanging out with her. Does he give a shit? No. No, he doesn't. He would text me from dawn till bedtime every day. After being broke up, after being in a relationship with somebody else, after she moved in with him. They don't care. So we go out, we have a couple drinks. He even gives me a hug, a real heartfelt hug, when I got a little teary about stuff that happened between us. I came home that day, and I had been on chapter 9, How to Leave an Abuser. And I wasn't really worried about that because we'd already broke up. And I didn't at that point in time think that he was still abusing me until I finished that chapter. The whole let's be friends, let me hug you and pretend like I care was a part of the game. It's a part of their game to keep you on the hook so that when he's done with her, he can come back around to me. And if we've got rapport still, if we're still good, maybe he can weasel his way back in. No, I'm done. So I do highly recommend Why Does He Do That? It is enlightening in so very many different ways. But once I finished that chapter, I ended the friendship. I ended all of it. Friendship. I ended all of it. We don't talk anymore at all. And we haven't spoken in several months. I don't anticipate ever speaking to him again. There's no need. So I want you to understand one thing though. Throughout this process, my healing process, because I have been narcissistically conditioned. Okay? They make you mom. You're the mother. Narcissists have a problem with mommy. So whether it's a woman or a man, they are seeking mommy. And that's what you are for them. You're mommy. You're doing their cooking. You're doing their cleaning. You're doing their laundry. You're making them feel good about themselves. You're building them up. You're lifting them up. You're providing them nurturing. You're providing them compassion. You're providing them guilt whenever they, oh, that thing happened to you at work today again for the 30th time because you consistently create your own reality. That's all they want. They want a mommy. They don't want to connect to you emotionally. They just want to be taken care of because they don't know how to take care of themselves. They're stunted. Most of them are stuck under the age of 10. whenever their narcissistic abuse began is where they end. They're not. I was dating an 8-year-old, 35-year-old. End of story. A grown-ass child. And after a while, I got tired of being with a grown-ass child as a grown-ass woman. Somebody who's 10 years younger than me, which, you know, let's face it, that was about my ego too. This beautiful younger guy, who wouldn't want that? And I had to finally admit to myself, what are the reasons I'm putting up with this abuse? What? Why? Because he was pretty. Because he was younger. Because of what he was doing for me. So in a way, I had to put aside my own ego and my own narcissistic tendencies, because we all have them. I hate to break it to you. We all have them. We are not all narcissists, but we do all have narcissistic tendencies. It's just a part of the human makeup. But before this video gets much longer, I would just like to say that it does get better. It will hurt. It will be confusing. You will feel guilt for abandoning them. You will feel like you abandoned that person. Are they going to be okay out in the world on their own? He needs me. She needs me. Who's going to watch out for her? Who's going to be there for him when he gets home at the end of the day and he's had such a hard flippin' day, because every day is so hard because he makes it so hard because they have to have something to complain about. You will get past it. And you're not stupid. You are not stupid. There is nothing wrong with you. Just begin to look at and understand what those things are in you that are attracting these types of people, and work on that stuff. Decide that you're not going to date any more narcissists, that you're going to only date healthy guys moving forward. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. Because the more you focus on what you don't want, the more of that is going to come into your life. So focus on what you do want. But you need to sit down and journal. Ask yourself the hard questions. What is it about me that is attracting this type of person? Because whatever is on the inside of us is what comes out, whether we want it to or not. And we bring things to us from the external that resonate with those things that are inside of us. And that's absolute fact. If you are sad and depressed and you go out and you're sad and depressed, you're going to repel everybody that is not sad and depressed. They don't want that energy. The people that are preying on people that are sad and depressed will see you. They will want to come talk to you. They might even want a relationship with you. Or you'll attract some friends that are also sad and depressed because they see energy, and that energy always attracts. Like attracts like. So it all starts in here. You really do need to take a personal inventory. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them below. Subscribe if you would like to. I'm going to be making more videos. They might be a little bit scattered as I figure out what I want to talk about and how I want to incorporate things into what I'm talking about, but they'll get better with time. I hope you stick around. There's a lot of topics that I do want to touch on. It'll be a good time. Thanks for sticking around.